always love when you come here because we can talk about anything.
Anything.
We talked about P. Diddy
We did.
shortly. That list is about to come out.
It's going to astound you. I think it's going to shock you, some of the high-level names on that list that were participating in some of the things that Diddy has been accused of doing.
And some of the most innocent people you can think of that you would never.
Kids.
Yes.
The government recently released some of the allegations that they had seen on the videos themselves, and some of the victims are as young as 9. And it's going to shock the conscious.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll just wait. Probably a week, maybe.
They're going to announce additional names and additional indictments soon. My theory is the government wants to make sure the right amount of spotlight is on this because the allegations are so severe. Right now, you're in a situation where you just had a major hurricane, major damage in this country, which is distracting attention. You have an election coming up, which is distracting attention. And you have a major, major strike at the United States ports that's happening that's distracting attention. So my thoughts is the government is going to release additional names and indictments after the election in November, and that's when you're going to start seeing some of these names.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, just get ready.
Get ready.
Oh,
buckle up. Get your popcorn.
People that you wouldn't even, like I said, people you wouldn't even think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some people that have been idolized and revered in the public eye for a very, very long time, that it's going to come out that they have done the same exact things that Diddy has done, and it's going to shock some people. And, it's the Me Too era of a few years ago on steroids, and it's going to be crazy.
Wow. So let's talk about Hulu. They just released Silkwood.
Okay.
And so now it's available for streaming that it hasn't been for probably 40 years. And I still think that they bumped her off.
For those of you out there listening that don't know, Karen Silkwood was an Oklahoma figure. She worked for KOMA back in the 70s, and she was in one of their departments where plutonium and some different things were being used. And there was an allegation that she realized that KOMA wasn't following proper safety protocols and that some of this plutonium was leaching out and people were being injured and hurt. And she had reached out to some media sources and that she was going to be a whistleblower because she was also an activist. And the day she was set to meet with some writers from New York and some of these big publication folks, she left a restaurant here in Oklahoma and went to drive to Oklahoma City, never made it. Her body was found in her crashed car 7 miles from the cafe that she left. And for a long time, people have thought that she was killed because she had the evidence and she was going to go speak with reporters. This is pre-internet, pre-iPhone, pre-everything, where you had to actually meet people face to face. And the documentation that she had was never found. And so Kerr-McGee did settle with her family several years later for a little over $11 million for some of the allegations, never admitted wrongdoing. Nobody's ever really been able to pin down that she was killed intentionally as part of this versus an accident. But I think even to this day, most people assume Karen Silkwood was killed because of the knowledge that she had.
Yeah, it was a single car accident. Yeah.
Yes. At a time in which she had breakfast, she's sober, it was a nice day, there's nothing going on, a single car accident that takes her life, and then the evidence that was in the car was missing.
Yes.
And so, does a multi-billion-dollar company have the ability to have someone taken out? Of course they do. Do they do that on a regular? No, that's not what we do in this country, maybe in other countries, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And, to sit here and say that Kerr-McGee actively took a role to hire a hitman to kill her, obviously it's difficult to go that far without actual direct proof, but circumstantially, it looks like there may have been somebody involved because she was killed on the day she was to meet people and the evidence in her car was not in her car at the time of the crash.
Looks kind of sus to me.
It does.
Yeah, it does. Okay, what if, changing the subject a little bit, someone's driving a car.
All right.
And they wind up for some reason, whether they're drunk or they're senile or whatever, they hit the gas, they run into your house or your business and cause a lot of damage.
All right.
So how can you protect yourself, and does it take a long time to recoup?
No, so a car accident case, Oklahoma law requires everybody to have insurance. Doesn't mean everybody does, but let's assume under your scenario that somebody hit the gas and ran into a business or a home and caused substantial property damage. Part of the insurance policy that you buy for your car is for if you hurt a person. Part of the insurance you buy is if you damage property. In Oklahoma, the minimum policy that you have to drive legally on the roads is a $25.50, which means $25,000 coverage per person if you hurt them, $50,000 per accident. So if there's 5 people, they have to split the 50. And then the last 25, it's a 25, 50, 25. The last 25 in the minimum policy is for property damage. Now, typically that's if you hit somebody else's car. Your car insurance will fix their car, but it's not limited to just the car. That person's insurance on their car will also fix a house or a property. And don't kid yourself, when somebody hits a guardrail and does all that guardrail damage, if the state knows who that is, they will go after that person's automobile insurance for the repair damages to the guardrail, or if you knock over a telephone pole. So to the extent you have insurance on your car, whether you have 25,000, 50, 100, or a million, that car insurance will also pay to fix property damage.
Okay. Well, good to know.
Yep.
I can't believe how much that I can just mention and you just run with
I know a lot about a lot, or a little about a lot.
Well, that's good.
Enough to sound interesting.
Well, thank you again, Noble McIntyre, McIntyre Law.
Thanks
Always
for
a
having
pleasure.
me. I appreciate it.